let's do this.
Okay.
Hey Flex Fam, welcome back to another episode of Flex in the City. I'm Gada.
And I'm Lisa, and this is episode 31. Yes,
31.
I believe.
Yeah.
Welcome. We've been MIA a little bit.
Yeah,
But-
forgive us, but we're back.
Life happens. But this is a part of our life as well. But yes, other life things have happened. and
Yeah,
Been unwell, and we just want to breathe the best of us.
yes.
So,
And we are
Here we
here. I think this topic's going to be a super interesting one.
yeah, I'm excited.
We want to dive into the fabulous world of the health and fitness industry, kind of touch on the good, the bad, and the ridiculous. So I think we will address a few things in this episode, how there's influencers out there that might be selling you on something that may not be completely 100% accurate, like you will see with Belle Gibson, a famous Aussie influencer that we'll touch on in a bit, and even touch on some of the crazy trends out there, like sunbathing your bums, because apparently that gives you energy.
Balls too. Apparently.
And balls.
Although sun, vitamin D. Yeah.
So
I can see the correlation.
yeah. So
But
we
just
know,
some of the more interesting fitness trends and not so fitness trends.
we want to feel healthy, we want to live longer, and we want to look good while we're doing it. But I think in that process, we also want to understand what is fiction, what is fact, and how to navigate that world. So why don't we talk about Belle Gibson first?
All right. I don't remember the name of the documentary, but I'm
It's-
sure some of y'all have probably seen it on Netflix.
I think it was, so there's two.
So
One
I
of them
didn't see.
is a series called Apple Cider Vinegar.
Oh, that's what that one was. So that's more of like a dramatization.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
So I
there's-
watched the one that's like the doco.
And that one was called Instagram's
Most hated con artist.
Or something like
or
that.
most
Yeah.
hated or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you put in Belle Gibson in your Netflix search, it'll come up. Essentially, this should never have ever been famous person had a platform where she faked having cancer, like very, very severe stage 4 brain cancer and some other sort of conditions, and then said, listen, I went away from medical treatment or traditional Western treatment and have now moved towards just juicing and eating healthily, natural, sort of this whole food shift and lifestyle shift based on what I ingest. And I've just like been glowing. They gave me 6 weeks, and now here I am 4 years later, still living and thriving. And it's because of how I've been cooking and feeding my body and
making
juicing.
and making the claims that she cured herself.
Essentially, like allowing people to sort of put that together.
Yeah.
And, she went on this whole marketing like junket around not just Australia, but around the world, where she was talking about it. And everyone was always sort of talking about, wow, you don't look sick at all. You really look pretty good. And she was like,
yeah.
And so a lot of people bought into that. The worst part of it being people who were sick actually stopped treatment and took what she was putting out as gospel and adhered to it. And in some cases, obviously, it didn't end up too well for them, but depended on this information that was putting out there that later came to be shown as completely false. She actually wasn't sick at all.
She never had cancer.
It's diabolical, but I won't spoil the end of the documentary if you haven't seen it. You'll find out sort of kind of what happens. I've kind of spoiled it, but just the sheer lack of I guess acknowledgement of the responsibility that she had for causing so much pain and suffering to people just so she could make all this money. And the craziest part is that like companies like Apple,
Penguin and Apple,
like they published her.
She got a book deal and she got an app out of it, and neither one of those companies actually did like a background search on her. They just took, because she was doing so well on Instagram, they were just like, this girl must know what she's doing. So nobody took accountability for what was happening. And I think there were a lot of different parties involved that should have done their research.
Yeah, there was so many junctures where they could have been like one person who said, let's do just a little bit of research. Let's do a background check. let's just verify.
Yeah.
And if one person along these years of journeys of her getting a recipe book and like published and like an app and all of these things, if one person had kind of done that, it wasn't hidden, it was all there. Like they would have been like, oh, she actually is a con artist. So it's sad that there wasn't this responsibility even on such a grand scale for people to do their research and do their homework, which is also a large part of what we're talking about with like the need to research and verify, even if there's information given to you, even if it's by a doctor, like get a second opinion, like always verify to the point where you're like, okay, I feel truly comfortable that what I've read, heard, seen, put out is true or factually provable to some point. So that was a story that I was just like, like as I was watching it, I was like, how can you do this to people? Like you're, and it's actually her friends that like called her out and basically started like to unravel the whole thing. Like that, especially that one girl who was like, listen, you're not gonna get away with this.
There's something off here.
Yeah, and she was still mad about it in the documentary, and I was like, fair enough. So it's just like
because she hasn't really been fully held responsible. Like I think she has a major fine that she has to.
As far as we know, she
was never arrested. She's never. I think she was put on trial, possibly.
I don't think she was.
No.
She wasn't. She was given the fine, and it was basically the money that she'd pledged to charity that she never paid.
Yes.
And then she still hasn't paid it.
That's where they got her.
Because I guess the rest of it was really hard to establish.
Yeah.
And then she just didn't pay the fine. She wasn't pursued for non-payment, and she started another scam. Yeah, remember? She started trying to pretend that she was like Sudanese.
I
was like, girl.
She was trying to latch on to another group that needed her help.
And they didn't know about
and then would start scamming them, like, because she was fundraising for them. And
she
then
even
someone
had herself
eventually
was like an African name that she was using.
Yeah.
And they had this footage of her like with the head covering on. I was like, girl. Like,
I mean, she's still out there. She's still doing her, and it baffles me that she still even has or tries to even.
I think because she's like a young white woman, she gets away with it though. Because like think of like a Black woman or like an immigrant.
No,
you know,
they wouldn't get away with that.
Like
shit.
it just
they would have locked them up so fast. It would have made your head spin. You know what I mean?
They would have made an example of them. But
yeah,
we digress. The point is, fitness trends, not all they're cracked up to be.
Yeah, and I think there was an appeal to what she was putting out there, because if you think about it, like, you know, you want to be living a life where you're eating the right foods, you're putting in clean foods into your body, and that's what she was putting out there.
Right, like especially for like cancer, where the treatment can be so debilitating on the body. A lot of people are already primed to being like, if there's a way I can treat myself that's less like taxing on my body and my immune system, then of course I'm going to be like really willing to consider that.
Exactly.
And
she made it also very visually appealing. Like if you saw her recipe book,
it looked cute.
Like everything was so like we say presented. Eat the rainbow. Like she literally would show you that, and it was so beautiful. And I think that also helped with a little bit of the buy-in.
She nailed the aesthetic.
It goes into also that the other influencer who we know passed away from. She's a vegan.
She was a raw food vegan. I think for something like 9 years or so.
Yeah, and so I mean, I remember reading the headline saying, "Vegan influencer dies of starvation."
Raw vegan
influencer dies of starvation. But when you see her account, like everything was so like beautifully
appealing
and
you're like, oh, maybe I could eat like this.
And I was just like, oh yeah, I could do that. I can.
And then I walk by a burger and I'm like, no, I couldn't.
Give me the damn burger.
Like raw? Wow. I mean, I was vegan for the better part of 2 years. And again, it was a similar thing because I was so sick and I was going to these doctors, and all of these doctors, like I went to doctors in Kenya, I went to see my doctor in Australia. All of them were like, we can't find something that's wrong with you. And I was training, I was healthy. Nothing changed except my skin was just awful. I kept gaining weight.
You're
Like it would be,
inflamed,
I
I
was
guess.
inflamed. Yeah, I was getting these crazy crippling stomach pains. My hair was falling out. My nails were brittle. And it's only until one doctor told me this, and it was my doctor back in Sydney, and he's like, look, I'm a man of science, so I shouldn't say this, but I've seen a lot of people make themselves sick, so to speak, by how they're managing stress or certain incidents in their life. And he said, whatever is going on in your life, it's none of my business. But you owe it to yourself to start thinking about how you're dealing with those things, because a lot of what is making you sick might be how your body is holding on to this stress, and now it's manifesting in these ways. And literally that was like the switch for me. I was like, and I knew exactly what the stressors in my life were at that time. And I was like, all right, you know what? I'm going to deal with this in a more proactive way. I'm going to try to heal this thing that's sort of been hurting me. I'm going to try and like do these things, these behaviors in my life that are more towards holistic health, not just training 7 days a week, which I was still doing, but like actually what am I doing beyond that?
What
so
you're
like
putting inside
my
your
body is fit, but like my body inside is not. I'm still not doing right by all parts of my body. So I really worked hard on the mental and the emotional aspect. And part of that was also saying, listen, maybe I am eating things that my body's not liking. So I did elimination. I was like, all right, first I'm going to take out dairy, and then I'm going to take out sugar. Sugar was like one of the first ones to go.
Right.
And then, you know, and I was never like supplementing or anything like that. So I was like, I'm just going to go like rock bottom in terms of just basics. And then eventually I was like, I'm even going to take out meat, because maybe like my body doesn't like the meat here or the animal product. And I just went as simple as possible. And because after the initial 2 weeks, because I remember vividly the first 2 weeks of vegan life.
It's torture, like detoxing.
Let me tell you, thank God I didn't have a man at the time, because my room was a hot box. And that's when like they tell you just kind of like ride it out, because yeah, your body's gonna kind of get rid of a lot of, and like it's plants, and it was like chickpeas, and it was like, so let's just say a lot of the toxins came out during that first 2 week period. And I remember talking to a friend of mine who was vegan, and he was like, just stay with it. Just stay with it. It's uncomfortable, but stay with it. And yeah, I kind of kept going on that. And eventually when you start to feel good, it gets easier, because you're like, wow, I am doing something that's helpful. And my skin cleared up quite a bit. And I realized that was actually because I was eating a lot of pasta before. So it wasn't purely because of the meat. It was, but
the white flour.
Yeah,
and the
yeah. A lot of the processed, like bleached flour, and also just wheat, and yeah, a lot of that, which I didn't have an aversion to, but I was just doing too much of it, because I was like, I'm exercising so much.
You need that carb reload.
I need it, and I was just getting it from the wrong sources. So when I kind of switched and was getting all the nutrients I needed, but really from conscious sources, my body was thanking me for it. Still healing sort of the inside stuff. And then it got to the point where, like I said, I was training a lot, but then I was like, I'm losing my gains. Like, and I'm not saying that, you know, you shouldn't be vegan, or I still think that like most of us should have a mostly plant-based diet. I still believe that for a lot of people, and everyone's kind of different in this sense, but generally I think there is animal protein that we do need, especially for a certain level of performance. Certainly for me, that's always worked. And so I slowly after that period reintroduced the fish, and then moved back into red meat. And that's where sort of I found my balance. So I wasn't eating as much red meat, certainly, as I was before. I was more conscious of that, eating way more like fish and getting omegas, but like still maintaining a really core plant-based diet. That period of veganism, you kind of like, they say like the two most annoying groups of people on the planet are vegans, because they won't shut up about it, and CrossFitters. And I was a vegan.
You're a vegan CrossFitter. And that's
who likes to talk.
I remember reading something where vegans, it becomes like such a core part of their identity. Like they're not just doing it for health purposes. They form their own community as
Yeah.
vegans, and it becomes a part of who they are.
Oh,
And
and
like
then
that's
recruitment.
just like for me, like the first thing you'll hear out of my mouth is that I'm Palestinian.
Yeah.
Like for them, the first thing out of their mouths is I'm a vegan. And it's like also they like it's so vegans sometimes need a sense of control, and they can control
Yeah.
things through their diet.
Yeah.
And it becomes also very ingrained into
An
how they
identity.
present themselves.
Yeah, no, I
It
agree.
becomes an
And I think
identity
because
thing.
it's more of a preemptive thing, because you just like, I have to let people know in advance that I'm vegan, because if I'm going somewhere, they need to know that I'm not going to eat.
Not
or,
the vegans
you
I
know,
knew. The vegans
like I
were
think
very
that's
much like
maybe where it came from.
like,
I'm trying to
I'm
give it the
here.
best benefit of the
I've
doubt.
arrived.
But like, yeah, I think that it kind of develops sometimes into something that's like less about like convenience for everybody and more
Yeah.
like, you know what, you really should like do this because I'm better than you. And
Yes,
yeah.
that's been my experience.
Yeah, and that's kind of the part that also I didn't really buy into, because I was like, yes, there's all these arguments that it's better for the environment, and you know, there's all these documentaries that came out on how much acreage is used just, you know, to get you your burger and to feed, you know, livestock. And so like I understand a lot of that stuff, but I was never like, you know, under this sort of this I guess like misplaced idea that like the whole world is going to change or has to change in a moment. But I was just like, well, let's talk about doing what's healthy, which is eating more plants, and then, you know, living life in a way that's healthier in terms of preserving the planet, which is across the board. It's not just with what's on your plate. So I kind of was able to separate the two, but I think some people might not be able to.
I think also,
my reasons were different, I guess.
think I can, and I respect that. Like I could totally see you not being someone that imposes your like what you feel right is right for you. I don't see you as someone who would impose that on anybody else. Like this is what's working for me, and in my like current state of mind and where my body is at, this is what's working for me,
or what I'm trying. And sorry to interrupt you, but like I was in Kenya when I was doing this, most of that journey. Kenya is a meat eating like culture. There's no way I could have been able to stand up on a soapbox anywhere and be like, y'all need to stop.
You need to accommodate to me and my needs right now.
Have been...
Imagine family gatherings like, oh, here comes Lisa.
I can't even talk.
Where's her vegan plate?
I'm going to literally have a salad and the greens. Like they'd be like, you're fine, and have some like chapati. That's it.
You don't want anything else? No, I'm full. I'm full.
It was hard, but I knew like this is not the target audience for preaching about like stop eating meat. Like I definitely was telling my family, you know, let's reduce our meat intake. We already eat so much fish. And so I was like, we're good. Like that's still like, you know, a better alternative, and let's just up the veggies. But yeah, like I was never sort of gonna like preach to people, grown people especially. I was just like, you know what, people do what you want. Do your research, and also like try something if you want and see if it works for you. Because my vegan journey was trying something that was eventually got me to where I needed to be to find out what worked. And so yeah, like try things, do your research, be informed.
And I can see, I mean, I know what was happening in your life at that time. So just like how I mentioned, like veganism is a level of control that some people need. Like that was how you were trying to regain control of what was happening, because there were certain things that you really
were outside of it.
The stressors were so intense and so far out of your like control that you needed something that you could say, yep, I know what I need to do. I know how to do it, what I need to do. And you were in complete like decision-making mode for that, and nobody could interfere with that.
I think that's a perfect point. It was a big part of it.
The thing with vegans and veganism, and I wouldn't say we can put it under the extreme. Do we put it under extreme dieting? No.
I wouldn't put veganism under extreme sort of fitness trend. There are extreme versions of it, like raw veganism, I would say is a bit more extreme. And certainly like, doing that exclusively is extreme. And as we have seen from like what happened to this woman, like it's just not sustainable.
I think her name is Zania. We'll put her in the description.
But yeah, like I think obviously like how it's ended up for her indicates that it's not sustainable. And I would say things like that are more extreme. Things like, you know, like Liver King, well, what he purported
Yes,
to
his
be.
name is Brian Johnson. There's more than one Brian Johnson we'll mention, but this guy was the Liver King, and he's
Yeah.
like, you see pictures.
He was
of
also
him,
raw, not vegan, but he
he
did
was
a lot
eating
of
raw meat.
and his family too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
like he
his
was
whole
calling.
take was, what they're trying to say, put out there, is that once his kids started getting older, and they put it in the article as they started interacting with the real world, like they started having allergies from all
Yeah.
the foods that
Yeah,
they were
because he
eating.
used to turn off everything in his house, like the
Yeah.
electricity, like all of
Yeah.
the.
So they started having all these allergies, and that's when he took on this whole Liver King diet. And from what I understood, and you can correct us,
And from what he put
but
out there,
he was eating raw meat
Yeah.
also, and he was eating a lot of liver, but he was also
he was lying.
He was on steroids.
Yeah, he was on massive gear. And if
Another
you look at his
influencer that
if you look at
completely fooled us.
his physique, truly, you're like, yeah, that can't
Yeah.
all just be from
Yeah.
eating raw innards.
Yeah.
But yeah, it eventually came out that yeah, he was not quite on the up and up.
Right.
But like again, proven to not be sustainable. And so also proves that you can't believe everything you read, hear, see, and verification and trying what works for you or finding what works for you is really an important journey to take, because everyone's body, yes, we're all human beings, blah, 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 but everyone's body, the nuances are different. It was really important, but do your research.
Do your research. And it's, again, like these, and I think we'll touch on this more than once, like there is a whole marketing world around these different trends, and veganism has become such a monster of its own. Like, and that, for me, the part that I can't wrap my brain around is the processed foods that are out there for vegans.
Yeah.
Like, you go to the supermarket, it's not, I'm sorry, but if you're gonna see vegan chicken, vegan beef, like that shit's not all just soy or mushrooms or whatever. Like, there's other shit that's in there too. And I'm just, that for me is just not.
And how do you get a bean to look like a beef patty? Like, what is involved in this process?
And I love this. A friend of mine and I were talking about this last week, and she was like, if you're going to be a vegan, why are you trying to eat food that looks like meat? Like, just don't do it.
Such a good point.
Like, why would you do that?
Yeah, I think that's for like formerly meat-eating vegans. That's not for vegans who are like, I am really one with the plants and I don't crave meat. Yeah. That's for people who crave meat and are just trying.
And they need a substitute. But again, the idea that there are a lot of processed elements in this, and it goes to the same for us who are not vegans and are eating stuff like, you know, most of our food is processed. If you go to the supermarket, you know, if you have ingredients on the thing that you can't pronounce, like, I'm sorry, it's
to be fair, when you live in Germany, you're not going to be able to pronounce it.
Anyway, so I think that's where that's that part that they've found a way to profit off of this diet trend.
Yep, it's a business.
And it's a business.
Like so many other things
that
are meant to be healthy, because ultimately health and fitness is a business, but it doesn't exist without unhealthy behaviors or unfit people that need something, that need to be fit, that need to find a way to being healthy. Because if everyone is healthy and fit, the business as a business, like your demand is gone. So there's certain element, and even the healthcare system like has a dog in the fight.
Off of sick people, you know?
Like, you need to be sick for this to exist and for it to justify its existence. So understanding that and not buying into everything that is being sold is really important, especially in a time frame where trends are everything. Everything is trending, like you said about like sunning the balls and like, or the perineum, or red light therapy, or like cold ice bathing, and like all these things which truly might have healing properties, but it's thriving on the fact that we're a society of like trends. Like, we're going to show you something enough times to make you feel that you need it to survive, and then we can sell you whatever we need to sell. Like, so just
tread lightly.
Take the grain of salt with it. Although, having said that, there are some trends that are a little bit interesting and sort of like, I would say it's great that they are trending because they are things that have sort of led to behaviors or societal shifts that are moving in the right direction, which is one of being one of is one
which is
which one of
which is
one of
one
which is
being.
one of which is
One of which
yeah, I
is.
don't need the being.
Yeah.
One of
which
being.
is.
One of which is. Wow. ESL
Or one
moment.
being.
One
like,
being.
one
Yeah,
being.
I was trying to say both at the
Yeah,
same
yeah.
time. That's what it was.
Yeah.
It's this German class. I'm forgetting how to talk and structure sentences. One being.
No, it's not even. No, it doesn't even sound right. Like it's just coming out. It just doesn't sound.
I don't even know what I was gonna say.
One being. Which
one
trend
being
is...
the trend itself of people being conscious of health, like
Yeah.
that as a trend.
Yeah.
So the fact that, I mean, for good or bad reasons, what happens thereafter, but people really searching for like a more organic way of living, people searching for holistic health rather than just like, you know, I want to be toned.
Yeah.
You know, which we had spoken about before. This,
Which is another marketing gimmick.
Yeah. Yeah,
There's
something
been
we grew up with.
Yeah, there's been a few coaches that I follow that have been posting about it this week.
Oh, really?
Yes, there's one coach
Unfollow.
that I...
I'm kidding.
No, I love this coach. She's actually a coach in Dubai. And she put out a video, and I even started looking up articles for it. So this idea that toned became a term that was used to get women into the gyms because they were, for the most part, male dominated, because women assumed that if they were going to go to the gym and start lifting weights, they were going to bulk up. So what did they start saying? Come to the gym and get toned up. But the idea is that you can't tone muscles because muscles shrink
and expand,
or they expand, but they don't like harden. But you get the illusion
of soft muscle or flabby muscle because
the fat that's surrounding it. So when you weight train and lose fat at the same time, then you get the, like my friend Lisa.
She's so silly right now.
Toned muscles, like that's where people will come up to her and be like, "Oh, you look so toned." That is
and that's where comes the toning comes from. Literally
you look
toned. retaining the muscle, strengthening it, but reducing the fat around it. That's where that appearance of being toned comes from.
So that again was a marketing gimmick, and it's just crazy how and I'm an ex-marketer. Like I was a marketer before I became a coach, and it's just baffles my mind how much this industry like really takes people for a ride, you know? But if at least it got people in the gym moving, then okay, it's something. You got to give credit where it's due.
It's like, all right, we're in the gym now. Okay, now how do we like shift just like, oh, I want to be skinny, but like, you know, toned. How do we shift that to I want to be strong and capable?
Yes. Which is where we've also seen then these different trends. And so we've talked a bit about like health and like nutrition in terms of the food that you put in your mouth, but then there's also like what movements should we be doing? Like you always see these different trends of what is, I mean, in
hip thrusters.
We had Jane Fonda and like this weird, remember those like the hip
Thigh Master and Jane Fonda. And what a blast!
Jane Fonda was all about aerobics and like
jumping around
body weight for a full hour and using your own body weight and then just being like
leotards and leg warmers.
Yeah, that was the trend.
And then it was Billy Blanks, who still goes hard. I'm sorry.
Billy Blanks?
Tae Bo?
Oh, Tae Bo, yeah. Of course. I love Tae Bo.
Yeah, so good.
I love Tae Bo.
So good. I did that the other day as well.
That was good.
But that was like, again, body weight, but still like building on this idea of being strong. Because even like what I liked about when his videos came out, it was really quite revolutionary at the time when he started to have people in a video that all looked different. So he'd have like old ladies back there. He'd have like people who were different shapes and sizes. He'd have people back there who were like, who would stop in the middle of the workout and be like, I can't. And honestly, that was so great to see.
It just reminded me of Richard Simmons. Do you remember Richard Simmons? The same thing.
Unfortunately, I do. Yeah. But because he worked with really overweight people.
But and he'd have them like dancing to your perfect body.
And he used to be quite overweight, right?
He was overweight himself too.
Yeah. Didn't they have like a movie about it, or they're making a
Really?
biopic. Yeah, with like Pauly
Oh,
Shore, I think.
I didn't know. Oh, that'd be interesting.
That would be really interesting because I think he has a pretty interesting
Is he
story. Because
still
he's quite
alive?
reclusive, yeah. But I think he's. Oh no, he died, didn't he?
No.
I don't know. But all I know is he was really quite reclusive.
Yeah. I
And
think you only saw him in those videos.
yeah, and then he kind of went out of the public eye. So it's
Okay.
yeah, it's
Interesting.
very Netflix documentary-ish.
Oh,
It's
okay.
giving
That'll
yeah.
be interesting.
But anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, I really loved that they had at that time. You'd never see anyone that wasn't like, you know, this skinny like
Yeah.
white woman with her perfect ponytail,
Yeah.
scrunchy, and like her matching like leotard leg warmer like combo. They just had regular people. And what I liked about Billy, he would be out there, he'd be counting, he'd stop counting, he'd talk to the camera, he'd lose count.
Yeah.
They'd be like in the background, like, what are we doing now? He did
The
this
editing
movement
to
on one
this is gonna
side.
be so
He forgot to do the same movement on the other side. I was like, this is the chaos I live for. This is
so-
real shit happening. And I'm still kind of gonna get fit.
Yeah,
Like, you know,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
fine. I'm gonna get there. But I like that I kept it real a little bit more, which still resonates with people. It's the people
Right.
that kind of keep it real that make that indelible mark. So I like that the trend of fitness has become a trend. I like
Mhm.
that. With that, obviously, with every bunch of apples, there will be a few bad ones. And so, yeah, you have these marketing ploys that take advantage of people's trustingness and people's desire to be healthy. Really, really kind of saying, okay, where is this coming from? What is the research behind that? Why would this work for me? Understanding my body enough to understand that won't work for me, but this might, is really important. And I think that works even on a like mental and emotional
Mhm.
level, because part of your health emotionally is also what you consume, like what you see every day
Yeah.
and what
That takes
you
a toll on you.
expose yourself to.
Mhm.
So do you have a toxic group of friends? Do you have a toxic parent? Do
Yeah.
you have an abusive toxic partner? Do you or do you have all of these things that are really positive that you can actually incorporate into your healthy lifestyle, or someone that's really great for positivity that you need to like make more time to see
Yeah.
and spend time with,
Yeah.
you know? So I think it's the same approach that can apply to so many different aspects of being healthy. Leave the country, for example.
She still hasn't,
Just spitballing.
she still
Just
hasn't
kidding.
left the country.
Hypothetical example.
We-
Like
We made it a plan that she would leave, and she hasn't left.
travel, not leave, not abscond.
No, like travel. I mean, I think we said in December, like we talked about resolutions.
Oh yeah, we was like, yeah,
And
we're
I
gonna
said-
book it in
and I
January.
said,
Look at
you
me
need
spitting.
to book it by.
Like January, it's done. Yeah, we're in March.
Okay.
And no, it's happening. I've got things in the works.
Okay.
You know that.
I know this. I know
Yeah,
this.
so.
This. So what can be said about fitness trends right now? Like, so there is weight training, there's HIIT, there's Pilates.
Yeah, and I love that Pilates, and maybe it's just my algorithm, but I feel like Pilates, especially reformer, is getting like a resurgence.
Yes.
Right?
All in my feed. That's all I see.
And I'm
But
loving
I love
it.
Pilates.
I love it. I
So,
love it.
for me,
And
it's
I wish
awesome.
it was more accessible.
Yeah.
But especially the reformer, because it is one of the fitness trends that until more recently maybe has been slept on.
Yeah.
Like reformer Pilates is no joke. And I love seeing videos of like really
Men.
strong. You got it.
You guys have to just look.
Like these bodybuilders
Who just-
on the reformer
You can't keep up, man.
who, man, and especially if the instructor is doing it next to them,
Yeah.
because you see how the movement is meant to look. Like there's this one woman who like came into like a pike position, and then her leg went straight up, and then she came down into like balancing on the bar with her foot just like on
Hanging,
the bench.
yeah.
And one foot up in the air, and then
Yeah.
like this, and then brought her foot down and through, and did this like all of this in a plank position.
Yeah.
I said, I'm falling dead on the
Yeah.
machine.
Yeah.
And like the dude can't even push out to
Mm-mm.
get into the first part of the movement. And he's jacked.
Yeah.
I love that about
Yeah.
it. I love that about it. And again, something that you can like read the history of, read about Joseph Pilates, and about like the fact that he was told like he was sickly and he wouldn't live past a certain age, and this was what he said, all right, well, I'm going to find something that works for me, and if I don't find it, I'll make it. And that's kind of that attitude of like, do my research, not believe necessarily everything that's told to me, and find a way to see what works for me.
Exactly.
And so, yeah, we wouldn't have this incredible workout if it wasn't for that.
Yeah. If
So,
you haven't tried Pilates, I totally recommend it.
definitely.
I mean, of course,
definitely.
make sure that you
Go to a reputable
yeah.
establishment.
Yeah.
And yeah, especially if it's a really good studio. And obviously I know like there is some systemic sort of like elitism attached to it. And so, you know, it's not accessible for everyone because like there's a cost cutoff. CrossFit has the same criticisms and I criticize it for the same reason. And I think there's some reasons as to why they kind of want to keep it away from certain communities. But I think, yeah, if you can sort of take the good and ignore all of that, and you have access, you manage to access a studio that's good, definitely try it. It's life-changing because even if you don't get to go back, there's certain ways and methods of movement and awakening muscles in your body that you'll be like,
tiny muscles, like those are.
I didn't even know that there was like an ab inside that ab on that side, because when you're in so much pain trying to hold yourself together, your body goes to anything to keep
stabilize
you. Yeah. And then you feel shit you've never felt before.
Oh man.
It's so good. And it gives you body awareness that I think a lot of other forms of movement might not do as well. So yeah, if you have a chance, try it out, or like YouTube it. You can also YouTube it. Yeah, Matt Pilates as well.
Yeah.
I think Stop Pilates is quite a good one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fun, and just like play with it. Like find other things that you might like as well, because your body, like, do something sort of consistently and listen to it, and it'll tell you like, I like this, I don't like this.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So
how do you feel about? Are there any bizarre trends, or maybe this bizarre is not the right word, but any trends that you do that are maybe not something that the average person does? Like we mentioned sunbathing your perineum, and the perineum is like the part between the bum hole and
whatever's in front,
and the
whatever you are
like
in the front.
It's that.
The grundle, I think, is the name for it. Is the other name for it. The
like offensive.
Yeah. I only know that because of Dom.
Grundle.
Shout out to Dom.
Yeah.
But yeah, that.
Stop with the hand movement.
The area
between
the
butt
anal
hole?
sphincter and whatever you're carrying in the front.
Thank you.
Yeah. That separator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That apparently, if you
Perennium.
sunbathe it, and like I guess you're in the, what's that position in yoga where you have your feet up in the air?
Yeah, like
the
open.
Baby, yeah.
Oh, I call it the stirrup position, but that's not.
Like
that's
I guess that's how you sunbathe it, and it's supposed to give you energy.
Yeah, I've heard that. Like really good. Yeah. But they say especially for men. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
That's the part that doesn't get sun ever. So I mean, yeah, I guess it would be quite happy to be like, oh wow,
yeah,
light up here.
Maybe it does awaken something. I don't know, but
I would try it. I just haven't found a place.
I mean, I'd literally have to be like on a deserted island by myself.
I mean, you could go to the nude beaches here. No, because the position required.
The position is very like intimate.
Yeah,
like I can't imagine.
It's like
I already feel awkward when I'm
like
in my
lasering position. Like literally when you're getting a Brazilian done.
But like even if I'm in yoga class or whatever, and I'm in that position, or if I'm doing stretching.
Oh, happy baby.
Happy baby.
Happy baby. Like, yeah, where you go up like this and you like tap your feet together.
Yeah, like I giggle the entire time. Like it's not like.
Did I tell you about when we were doing that once in yoga when I was in Sydney, and we came back down and someone queefed really loud? And I think because every single woman has the fear that might one day be her, nobody reacted. Everyone was like, listen,
we got you.
She deserves all the grace in the world.
Just,
I'm just glad it wasn't me.
It wasn't me, but I'm not going to bring attention to it.
Yeah, that used to scare me to death. I'd be like, I can't breathe. I can't inhale, do nothing when I'm getting into that position, because if I come back down, curtains.
Okay, so we've established that neither one of us does perineum sunbathing.
But I'm open to it. That's something that I want to read more about and find out where it works.
Okay.
Although I do know a little bit about the benefits of vitamin
Yeah.
D for sure, and that most of us have a deficiency.
Yeah.
So I would definitely be open to trying that.
What about trends like oil pulling?
I don't even know much about that.
So that's something that I do. You take coconut oil, like a spoon of coconut oil, and you put it in your mouth and you swish it around in your mouth for like 15 minutes, 15, 20 minutes. And it's supposed to collect it's supposed to basically get all of the toxins that have collected in your body out.
Through the mouth?
Through the mouth. And
really?
I also think like,
so the oil is literally pulling it out of your body.
That's what when I've it's an ancient Ayurvedic method treatment,
whatever. Yeah.
And it's a way to pull the toxins out, and because your mouth like is so close to your brain and the bacteria that collect, like it's supposed to be very, there's no scientific like
data
that says that this is really what it does.
Right.
I also don't think maybe they do enough research on these type of things, because if they figure out you can just go get a jar of coconut oil that really lasts you a long time,
it's not good for the
to
healthcare
kill all
industry.
the bacteria, then you lose out on mouthwash. And I'm not saying you do this and you don't brush your teeth. That's not what we're saying. You still got to brush your teeth. You still got to floss. Like you got to
do all of the things.
Do all of that. But like mouthwash, for example, causes a lot of bacteria in the mouth. It does the exact opposite.
Yeah.
But you go to any drugstore, like that's a very prominent product that you find. And you can imagine how many.
I also find it weird that it's something that you're putting in your mouth that basically says, try not to swallow it. Like that's always like an issue to me. Like, why am I putting something in my mouth that like is not really good to be in my body? Like, just
weird.
Yeah, it hits me weird. But this oil pulling is interesting.
But it also helps with bad breath, and it helps. I've noticed that when I do it, I get like a slightly, it whitens a little bit, like not majorly, but you see a slight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Coconut oil is like magical.
Yeah. I think you can do it with other types of oils. I remember reading something, I don't know if it was sunflower oil or some other oil, but I prefer coconut oil. But it does take a bit of getting used to, especially when you take it's like solid and you put it in your mouth. And then it
turns into liquid and you gotta just keep.
Yeah. But I always do it like I'll get up in the morning, I'll do it, and I'll be like washing my face as I'm doing it.
Yeah, so you're distracted.
Getting dressed, like preparing the kids' lunch boxes for school. So the 15 minutes go by.
Okay.
Also 15 minutes.
It's a long time.
You can build up to that, like 5 minutes and then 10 minutes and then 15 minutes.
Interesting.
Then, I like that one. But there's another one also that hold on, let me look.
Oil pulling. No, that I can definitely try, because I'm a big proponent of anything coconut oil. I love it.
Says here, claims include reduced plaque, prevention of cavities, and strengthening of gums. This is from womenshealthmag.com. And then also believed to remove the toxins from the body, leading to improved overall health. But again,
no clear database.
Well, the scientific perspective is that it can reduce oral bacteria, but should not replace, and that's not what I'm saying, it should not replace teeth brushing.
Right. Okay. Okay. Right. So it's like an addition to whatever you're already doing to.
Yeah. Okay. So that was oil pulling. I wanted to ask you about mouth taping.
Also something that when we talked about, I was like, first of all, I have had that threatened to be done to me enough times. Dude, in school, I was always a talker. I was like,
in that sense,
super disruptive. So when I hear mouth taping,
it's very like traumatizing.
It's the PTSD. Yeah. So explain this one to me as well.
Okay, so mouth taping, I've seen. I've been seeing it among athletes. Like they're the ones that are actually promoting it. Like you go on to, there's Haaland, and there's a few other ones who really like they have like this solid black tape that they put on their mouths while they're sleeping. And it's supposed to prevent breathing from your mouth, because that apparently dehydrates you and also keeps you from snoring.
I'm just saying there's some people during the day walking around who need that.
Yeah.
Breathers. But go ahead.
It keeps you from snoring. And you know that when you snore, that means you're not actually sleeping properly, so that affects you. And
you're not getting enough oxygen.
You're not getting enough oxygen, and then that also affects your sleep, your sleep health, and the quality of your sleep. Yeah. So there's this idea.
Also, the quality of the sleep of the people next to you.
Exactly. So this is called mouth taping, and my husband and I have tried it.
Yeah.
Because he is a snorer.
Mm-hmm.
But he's always like
That he
afraid that
can't
he's
breathe.
gonna stop breathing.
Yeah, totally.
And they actually warn against it. Like if you have sleep apnea, if you're not a
shouldn't do it.
Yeah, you shouldn't do it. Like it really should be just for those who are, I guess, not healthy, but like don't have anything that's
like sleep disorders.
Sleep disorders that's gonna affect them.
Fair. That makes sense.
That
would be my fear too.
I've tried it a few times. I did like there are specific, and this again goes back to the marketing industry. Yep. They have like a whole list of products now for mouth taping. So you get like these really like thick ones that men are using, and then you have like these really dainty ones that look like an X, and you put it on your mouth. Oh, sorry.
You have put like a little X on your mouth.
Put a little X on your mouth, and of course it's a picture of a woman, and she's like all peaceful and stuff, and has the X on her mouth.
Sleeping with a full face of makeup.
Dainty. Yeah. And so I was just like, okay, there's a whole industry for that now too.
Marketing execs never have a day off.
But this one also, they say there's not enough scientific research yet to say whether it really works or not. So you got to try it out yourself. You got to see if it's actually something that works for you, and do your research again. Like see if it's something that works. But when we did try it, I think my sleep the quality of it wasn't that great because I could feel something on my mouth the entire time.
Good point.
And I was very aware of it, but I think had I got the little X maybe.
The cute one would work for you? You're like, actually, low key, the marketing is on point.
Khan's mouth is like so strong, like he like managed to rip it off while he was
the big black one.
Yeah, no, it wasn't a black one. Like we just found regular
like tape, like
medical tape.
Yeah.
I think it says not the kinesiology tape, but something else. It was like medical.
Yeah. That stuff that you put like when you have. Yeah.
But that didn't work. And then I also kept thinking, I'm putting this adhesive on my skin while I sleep. Like, am I ingesting that adhesive? Like, I don't know. Like it all just. Yeah. So I don't know.
I would be afraid of that.
It didn't last very long. But
Yeah.
I'm not completely against. I'm open to trying it out again. But if I find like right quality tape that's also like non-toxic.
And that helps you actually be able to keep sleeping. Then no, I would be open to seeing someone else try it. I would be open to sort of hearing more about it. No, snoring's not gonna be a problem, but I've noticed that I have been sleeping with my mouth open more often now. And I only notice it because with the heat on, your mouth
it's so dry.
Like I literally wake up and like my lip is like stuck on my teeth, and like my whole roof of my mouth is dry. Like I'm like, I can't even like run my tongue along it. No. And that's because the air is so dry. And I'm like, wow, this is my mouth and I'm in this like a lot of hours. Like, God, what is it doing to my skin?
Exactly.
So that's when I realized, oh my God, am I a mouth breather in the nighttime?
I've learned also that all of us are mouth breathers. Like all the kids sleep with their mouths open. Me and Khalid also. So unless I'm on, well, actually, I don't know. If I'm on my side, I'm not sure if I'm a mouth breather.
Yeah, definitely on the back.
Yeah,
I think I am when I'm on the back, or whenever I am, but the mouth is open.
Although I think I've woken up a few times on my stomach and like drool coming out. So I'm guessing I'm a mouth breather even on my stomach.
In there. But that's that good
like,
sleep.
Oh,
that's that good sleep.
Like,
that happens to me on
I
naps.
wasn't facing Khalid when that happens. It's always facing the other way.
Good. So subconsciously, you're just like, husband in back. Now, drool may happen. Oh my God. The times that I've woken up drooling, like when there's a wet spot on the pillow, has been some of the best sleep. And I'm just like, it's been years since I've had like a good drool nap or sleep. I think before the baby. But I remember those with fondness. Definitely. Oh my God, such good sleep.
Have you tried red light therapy?
We have one here. So in like infrared sort of. And I've tried it actually over the last few weeks because Michael was using it for like his back. So he's used it before I hadn't. And I was like, oh, let me try it out. Because I was a little bit sore from training the other week. So I was like, let me try it. And like, I don't know if it's placebo effect, or you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I was like, or maybe I'm just actually getting less sore. But yeah, I did feel like, it kind of took a little bit of that soreness and that sort of yucky tension feeling out, a little bit. But I would have to do it more often to kind of see. And I know there's a lot of people that have like the red
Yep.
light masks
They're
for like
using it
face.
for their face for like,
Yeah.
I guess, younger looking skin.
That
It like
shit is terrifying.
tightens the
'Cause
skin.
have you seen those masks?
I have
And
seen-
people sleep with them on. I can't.
I wouldn't sleep with it. I would do it maybe like in the evenings while I'm watching my Netflix. Like I'll do it then.
Yeah.
But to sleep with it, like
Can you imagine waking up to that?
Oh my God, that'd be too scary. I'm sorry.
It's literally like, what's the name? Is it Jason?
Yeah.
It's a Jason mask. Yeah. I'm like, I'm not waking up next to that. If you wear that after I've gone to sleep and I wake up to see it, like fisticuffs system. And it's also just the idea that, isn't it like there's wires involved, right? Like,
yeah, I don't think they're
like
battery
I'm
operated.
not comfortable with all of that.
But I have a friend who does red light therapy, but she just has it. It's like
a
light that's in the room,
Yeah.
and she just sits in it in the evenings, but
Yeah.
she doesn't actually have it. And I think I would prefer something like that. Like I don't know, I don't feel very comfortable with anything being so up in my
face.
In my face.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
but
a few things, but jokes.
PG, Lisa, PG.
The PG people won't get it anyway, so it's fine.
But there's definitely some interesting trends out there right now.
Yeah, there are. I mean, it's so many. Oh my God, we didn't even touch on like Ozempic and like the fact that there's these trends of people replacing healthy weight loss with something that's meant for Ozempic, for like medical treatment.
Yeah.
Although I have to say my issue was like, it's a shortcut, like just fucking eat healthy and like live healthy. And remember I told you, because we had this discussion, I'm like, I read a lot about this and I'm like, okay, I understand how GLP-1s work.
Right.
On a layperson scale. And I was like, I understand that this is something that is revolutionary and potentially something that can help, especially people who have like lifelong issues with obesity. But again, the marketing, the fact that it's like a get skinny quick scheme. Yeah. Scheme is the word. And then it's like people are overusing it, and then people are replacing healthy habits and healthy things like exercise with it, is where I'm like, and this is where again we have something good that like gets turned into something ugly because, or something that has potential for good gets turned into something ugly because maybe the marketing and the misuse. And so again, research is really, really important, and understanding why something exists and how it works is also really important, but then also understanding what works for you. And not just what works for you on your body, but what works for your philosophy, like literally like your values and how you want to live, like
your belief system.
Yeah. What is something that I can actually feel okay about doing my whole life, but also what is something that is like okay with my soul, so to speak, What
do you see as new trends coming up for the fitness and health industry? Or
what I've seen, and this is probably just because like Paris Fashion Week just ended, and so like what I've seen is a lot of people going back to skinny. Like I'm seeing a lot more of that again,
which I thought we
kind of had moved past and left in the past. I'm seeing a lot more of that, but also with oh God, I really wanted to like her. I really did. But Meghan's show on Netflix, if you see, we were all rooting for you. But the trend that I want to talk about that has brought that topic up is this trend of like, and it's something that I'm also buying into, because I'm starting to post a lot of like cooking content, but that's just because I like cooking. I'm by no means like a professional. I just kind of like doing it, and it's what I do, and it's part of my day. Really not. But like the fact that like there is this huge capacity for people to want to consume cooking content and like sort of home.
I love her recipes.
Girl, that pasta
Oh, the one pan pasta? I mean, that's not something she invented though.
No, it's not. But you're gonna.
Oh.
My issue is, first of all, she tries to sell a lot of the things to us by saying my kids love it, and I'm like, girl. First of all, no, they don't.
You know she's got the chicken nuggets on the side.
Please. And also, she's like, oh, I put this in their lunches. I'm like, isn't your baby like lunches for going where? Is she going to meet the girls for brunch? Like, what? Listen, I don't even have a problem with the recipes because like that Korean guy who came in and made that fried chicken. Woo! I was like, and you know I don't take down recipes, but when he was, I was like,
they have a whole website dedicated just to her and her recipes on Netflix. I'll send it to you.
Yeah,
they have
screenshot his chicken because the way that method and the fried
the milk and
the milk brine. I was like,
beer, that was like
revolutionary.
Yeah.
And then the sauces that he made.
And I'm all about sauces. When I cook, there has to be at least one or two sauces on
and the fact
table.
That he had three.
He had three.
And the way that chicken looked after he fried it, I said,
and the quick kimchi and the pickles and all that.
And he was like, just throw all that spice in there. The way I saw the spices.
But yeah, so what were you, like, you brought her up because?
That is a trend that I'm seeing. The trend of going back to not back to, but like, I think there was like, obviously the Martha Stewart times. And like, there's a time that had like a really big sort of following and then kind of, and like, people went towards like fitness videos or like, you know, all these celebrities were like, oh, I'm going to do a fitness video or I'm going to do a podcast or, you know, whatever. And now like, we're kind of seeing people moving back towards like, you know, furnishings, home furnishings, cooking, So I see that people are moving back towards that, but also really towards like what is sustainable living. So not just sustainable in terms of, I got these berries from the garden.
Which she does.
And she's picking. I'm like, girl, you just said this isn't your garden. Like, what?
No, it is her garden. It's just not her house. It's like the stage house.
But but when she goes outside in the garden outside the house, that's not the garden that she's actually collected it from, is it?
But she's sitting with Roy Choi and they're looking at the mountains.
That's not her house.
She says, we're so lucky to have found this place.
That's not her actual house.
Not where they're cooking. No.
That's not but when house. They sit in front of the pool and there's the mountain, that's not her house.
I think it's part of it's on the lands of her.
It's on the land. It's on the property.
Like when she says it's not my
it's
house.
It's part of the compound.
Like, bitch, you know that your house is literally like you know, you take the go-kart. You came with the go-kart and you're going up the hill to the house. Like, come on. Literally.
I think, so that's kind of the trend that I'm seeing where people kind of want, and it's hard for her. Like, I do get it because it's hard she wants to be approachable and like relatable. Yeah. But at the same time, we want to see someone who's relatable, but we also want to see someone who does things kind of like perfectly. Like we talked about the aesthetic, like the food that looks nice. Perfect. Martha Stewart was like, listen, this is the hill I'm going to die on. I am perfect. And if you can't measure up, don't do it. But that was her branding and she did it well and it worked for her. Not everyone can do that. No. And she was unapologetic about it, but she was also like an incredibly brilliant businesswoman, still is. Meghan's a different sort of businesswoman. She owns business. Yeah, she's making her preserves and all that. But I think she's trying to also put herself out there in a different light. But I think there is the reason that so many people watch it and it's been renewed for another season is because I think people want to consume more content again about like cooking and and like I'm even seeing that with like my algorithm and with so that's sort of a trend that I'm seeing where people are like, we want to kind of also be able to cook at home and like do fun, healthy, like nice looking food at home and be able to kind of be sustainable about it. So that's kind of a nice trend.
Okay, I like that. I see for the future,
what did you think of it, by the way? Just quick one of that document. Have you seen it?
I've seen only up until Roy Choi. Like he was I saw that last night.
Did you see the Mindy Kaling one?
Yeah. I can't believe, you know, it's so funny that you keep calling me Meghan
keep
Markle
because you know I'm Sussex
now. You know, and it's just so beautiful to take the last name of
Mindy's face is I swear to God, that woman is so funny. She's a comedian
I
without saying a
love
word.
her.
I fucking love Mindy Kaling.
And
And the fact that she was like,
but there was something about Mindy's episode and the episode with her makeup artist. It was awkward. But Roy
a lot of them
Choi,
were.
I don't know, maybe because Roy Choi came in and he was the one kind of like, these are my recipes, this is what we're gonna do, bum 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 bum. It wasn't much of her talking. It was more because there's something.
Roy
like
Choi is the chef who was the Korean
chef.
I think it was less awkward, but there were still awkward places where like, because you can tell like he's very LA, he's very like,
and he's also done like he has his own cooking shows
exactly.
on Netflix,
so he was very natural,
before.
like, but so, and he kind of led the energy.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. I'm like, it's your show. How are your guests more interesting?
Yeah.
And more engaging than you? Like you're not even. You're just like, it was like she was like an accessory.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then she was like struggling to be relevant. She was like, remember when people were doing the Roger Rabbit? I was like, girl, bye.
You weren't doing the Roger
girl, bye. Like, just stop. Like,
I don't know.
No.
Yeah, that was. It's been hard to watch, but
she said it's been hard to watch.
But I like her. I like her recipes.
Yeah, they don't seem too bad. I like that they're really easy. Like it's nothing that's like hard to find, and they're like simple and more basic.
Yeah.
I just hate that she puts flower petals on everything.
It makes it so pretty.
It's so fun. Isn't that just like a bit of joy?
And my kids love it.
Why must flower petals go on everything?
I don't know.
No.
Okay.
It doesn't go on everything. Flower petals in the ice cube even.
Oh yeah.
Stop. Get me a real drink. What is this?
Yeah.
Those drinks that she made for her friend look good. Also, there's alcohol in every single scene. I was like, girl.
That's true.
I mean, no judgment, but like, I was like, you don't have to show us all the time.
I'm interested to see how the rest of the episodes play out. But
I am as well. But yeah, it was interesting. But I'm glad that we're sort of going towards what seems to be a trend of people eating at home as well.
Yeah, and making foods that
because remember there was also a trend where it was like all restaurant shows and like Master Chef and like professional cooking.
Yeah.
But now it's like, I understand it was like regular
for
people,
the average person.
Exactly. Kind of thing, those of us who don't want to be like, oh, I temper my own chocolates and you know. Like regular food that looks cute.
Yeah, for the average person, a simple person who
wants to make
like
yummy,
I want
healthy
to
food.
make kimchi, but the ingredients are sometimes hard to find, or sometimes like I don't want to buy a whole thing of fish oil and
to use
it once, but like still I'll do it for kimchi. And so his recipe yesterday was so easy.
Yeah.
And so
did you do it yesterday?
No. Like it's something that I want to do. And normally with kimchi you have to wait to let it ferment.
And girl,
you
the
can
smell
eat it right now. And
I liked that about it, because that fermenting smell when that's happening, you open that pot.
Oh yeah, it's
knock you
a
out.
hot mess.
Yeah.
But aside from that, I think what I envision or see happening for the future of fitness and health industry is maybe a little bit of AI stepping in for customized training programs. Again, I'm not somebody that maybe would go to that, because I still would prefer like human interaction.
I think a lot of our generation would.
But AI is a big thing, and it's coming.
It's the future.
It's coming, and I see it in a lot of different industries. It's going to have its place. But aside from that, I also feel that a lot of coaches are also gonna, and we talked about this before recording, that coaches will become specialized. By coaches, I mean fitness trainers will become specialized as mental health professionals as well. Because I think it's
so important.
How amazing would that be for me to go to a fitness trainer and tell them I want to lose weight, and they come at me from a holistic standpoint, like, okay, why do you want to lose weight? Why is it so important? Once you do lose the weight, are you trying to lose weight just for like a one-off thing, or is it something that you want to sustain and continue to live?
And or you know, you're gaining weight now, we've been on this journey, what's happening in your life that's sort of influencing that? You haven't changed your eating habits, it's not your intake, it's not your calories. What are you going through? Let's kind of unpack that and deal with that. And I think that's so valuable to have someone who's a fitness expert, but also understands how your body responds to certain stimuli outside of food, or how you eat differently based on certain or how you metabolize differently based on. So like someone who studied psychology or, you know, nutrition, but like in an in-depth way, to the way that they're really qualified to be
Yeah.
able to give you that like invaluable sort of like packet of information in one place.
That's gonna be awesome.
There's a friend of mine actually she's doing a psychology degree, and she's
amazing.
Shona. Yeah,
Shona
Virtue. Yeah, so she's an incredible fitness person. If you don't know her, you've been under a rock. But she, is already built this empire of, yes, we'll do this empire in the fitness industry. She's, ex elite gymnast, and she has like decades of yoga experience, but also heaps of weight training, and everything she talks about always has like factual, scientifically. That's why I love it. And she just packages it really well. And she's like doing a psychology degree, a master's. And I'm like, oh my God, like this is such like that is invaluable so information. I think so important.
Mental health in itself has also become a trend, like just
facts.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So
yes,
but really in a good way, because I think now it's coming to light that, if you're not mentally healthy up here, it's okay, and there's something that can be done about it. It's not something taboo anymore.
Exactly.
It's not something to be ashamed of.
And it's fixable, and it's essential to have alignment with the body. Like it is an essential part of health altogether. So
I think we covered a lot. We covered, we learned what's to be said to do your own research for any of these trends.
Right, the importance.
Oh my God, it's fucking snowing. Sorry.
Oh Christ, it sure is.
Sorry. I just looked outside. I had a train of thought, and then I looked outside and it's snowing. Like, you want to talk about mind fucking and mental health, like
there goes mine.
There goes mine, because I swear to you, last week I was in a t-shirt. No, dude, the week before, when my kids were on holiday,
it was 18 degrees on the weekend.
I went out every day with my kid on a bike ride, and I had a t-shirt on,
and the sky was blue.
And now look at me,
and it's snowing.
Anyway, so the point is, do your research. Anything that comes along, like any of these influencers, like don't just expect that what these influencers are saying is like the magical cure,
right?
That's
going to fix
you, the be all and end all. Like, do your own research, definitely, and stay away from anything that's too extreme. Like we definitely want to push for this idea of sustainable, healthy living.
Don't put rose petals on everything.
I think also just really learning to move your body in ways that feel good for you. Like whatever might be trending. If they say hit training is what you should be doing, but your body really just does not do well after
hate training, I call it.
Like, find something else.
Yeah. There's so many. We're really lucky. We're living in an era where there's so many different kinds of fitness, and you can find something that kind of works. And if you don't find it, Joseph Pilates that shit. Make something that works for you. Billy Blanks that shit. Create something that works for you.
Yeah, I know for what works for me is like having a mix of things. So like one day I might do strength training, the next day I'll do dancing, the next day I'll do Pilates, and then another day it'll be like just purely stretching or yoga or something like that. So like just having that, like finding variety, what works for me. I think really works for my body, because I know that if I did, although I love strength training, I know if I did it every day, my body would.
It's like boring.
No, it's not just boring. Like my body would be in pain all the time. Do you know I don't know how true this is, and this might also be something in trends, is you can do blood tests that tell you, first of all, what foods agree with your body, and what exercises agree with your body. So I'm A positive. Mm-hmm. And according to my blood type, according to my blood type, there's certain foods I shouldn't be eating, like tomatoes, which breaks my heart, but I'll eat it every now and then.
Acidity.
Yeah, and like, and then apparently, like hardcore intense training doesn't agree with my body. Like when I'm like I will be sore for a good
you don't like
3-4 days.
Like literally, your body's like,
my body's literally saying no, don't do it. But I also, like, if I were to do hit training once or twice a week, like I would look forward to it too, especially if I'm in a group setting. But to do it every day, my body would be like, no.
Every day is a lot too.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
Yeah. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. But I digress. Movement. good quality sleep.
Consistency, things that you were able to keep doing. Yeah. And sort of that's the question you ask yourself. Whatever it is that you take up, that you say, I want to do this, if you're past this stage of sort of trying things and you're like, all right, I want to make a shift, a change. First question you should ask yourself, can I do this for the rest of my life?
Yeah.
That should be the question.
Yeah.
And if the answer is no, then
find something else.
Yeah.
Don't
maybe
give
some
up.
tweaking.
Just retweak, you know?
That's it.
Go back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
But I was saying quality sleep is also important. And then
super important.
Stress management, like learning how to cope with the different stressors in your life.
Girl, we still learning. Onward and continuous process. But I think that's really good. Yeah. A really good synopsis of kind of the trends right now, at least the ones that we know about. Guys, share with us if there's things that you know of that we haven't covered.
Or the weird, maybe you've done some weird trends that you would like to
share.
Like,
weird trends with us.
We're curious about that.
And like the results.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll discuss it in our intro next episode.
Exactly. So if you haven't done that yet, follow, leave a comment, because that helps make our show a little more discoverable to other people. Plus it makes us feel a little warm and fuzzy inside when we see.
Not that we're getting any validation whatsoever from this.
We validate ourselves. But so, and I guess until next time.
Bye.
See you.